Hello my soccer universe. Let's talk Champions League playoff draw. I'm wearing Milan. I'm sorta happy we don't have to play Juve, although it also is with a slightly crying eye because we have to face Feyenoord, where, one of my favorite players, Gernot Trauner, is playing. And there's also potentially, that a striker from Feyenoord goes over to Milan now and he will face his former team. Very iffy draw. I'm also happy because I called it. I said who will be Manchester City's opponent. Okay, it was a coin flip and so on. So it was quite interesting, I would say. I mean, the big winners, it's pretty clear. The three up there plus Milan, I think they're all happy in a way because they got easier opponents than one would have expected. So let's look at the pairings. The first one we have is Atalanta against Club Brugge and then Dortmund against Sporting. Curiously enough, Sporting have a higher rating than Dortmund, and so they are favored over Dortmund, at least according to my model. Wouldn't necessarily call it this way. However, Sporting definitely one of the happier teams because Atalanta is a rough opponent, although they have quite some experience with Atalanta, but not a positive one, playing them already 4 times last season. And did they play not just each other in the group stage as well? Whatever. Then the big one, Real Madrid against Manchester City. Boom. I mean, we have again Real Madrid against Manchester City. This time Real Madrid are just favorites by a little hair. And Bayern Munich have to play Celtic. I mean, if that isn't luck, Bayern's path to the final at home got a whole lot clearer. We'll talk about that in a sec. I mean, you dodged a major bullet there. I also would argue that Milan dodged a major bullet in not playing Juventus. I know Juventus are dreadful, but all the games that Milan played against Juventus this season already did not fill me with a whole lot of confidence. And yes, Feyenoord is not a bad team. But, I think that Milan got a little bit lucky there. PSV have to go to Juventus. I think PSV have a chance. I mean, they played them title in the league phase as well. So, Eredivisie, Serie A duel, head-to-head in Serie A and Eredivisie would also not be good because, you take away the points of each other. And then Brest, that's the only within-country duel that we have. Brest have to play PSG. They will not be happy about that because they anyway are scheduled to play them, I think, next week as well. So they play them 3 times within a month. Probably not that much fun, but Brest had a real fun ride through the Champions League already. And yes, it probably will end with PSG. And then Benfica will take on Monaco. I think Monaco also like their chances there because you have a better chance against Benfica than you have against PSG, I would argue. Now it's also interesting to look at it in terms of the tournament bracket. And the teams on the left side cannot play the teams on the right side, but we don't know how the top 8 seeds are allocated after that. This will happen after the playoff round. But if you just look at Bayern Munich in the orange quadrant right, they cannot play Manchester City or Real Madrid. Those were the biggest names in the draw. They also cannot play PSG. So also quite favorable. And yes, Dortmund will come later. Milan is potentially tougher than Juventus, although I wouldn't necessarily say so. So that is the only thing that did not go in their favor. On the other side, City, Real Madrid, Juve, PSV, that's already quite heavy. And then you add to that the teams that are seeded like Atletico, Leverkusen, Arsenal and Inter, 2 of these. That's definitely gonna be fun. I also think that Liverpool and Barcelona would rather try to avoid the PSG pairing, so I think that might actually be not such a good draw because PSG have shown quite some good form. I also think that the pairings in yellow, this is very open. I actually like Atalanta's chances of getting out of their side of the yellow part. It depends whether they will get Lille or Aston Villa, but I think they can hold their own against either one of them. And I think even Dortmund would not be too unhappy to play against Aston Villa or Lille, so their seeding also worked out in their favor there. And lastly, we can also look at the changes in the chances of winning it all and so on. Liverpool remain top, however Arsenal are now close second as well, Inter right behind, so it still remains very tight. Barcelona is a little bit behind. Real Madrid of course took a hit because you play City, that does make it harder, but they're still ahead of Leverkusen, City ahead of PSG. Bayern still relatively low, although I would think their chances of reaching a final at home have definitely increased. Now it all depends. Will you play Barcelona or will you play Liverpool on the way there? And do you get there in the first place as well? So those were my thoughts on the draw. Please drop a line below what you thought about the draw. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And I will talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there! I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!